94.7 Asempa FM Sony Ekosiisen dwumadi no wasogoso awutie no me na munyina asese matwen yen ma yakọ asan so aba bio me di osaibo said the monim no lawyer Andrew Egyapa Mercer ewa deputy energy minister and member of parliament for the secondary constituency in the western region. Sanso ena Edem Agbana, deputy national youth organizer of the NDC. Yakoso the asedama and abua for 1 hour boy me the Ekosiisen Ebrem. Your discussion segment Weber call, also Weber we care. Franco Trading Enterprise, phone Papa Fie and a dependable herbal. And so Ebwaye interviews are here on this show, and also Chop Shop, Ghana's good food place, DBS Roofing Papa Pafie, and a Hepa Plus mixture, and Ma Apomodeni Ampa. May hear some segment and so Fabrigam Pharmaceuticals, your health our priority, Obapa product, EcoBank Ghana, Awake Purified Drinking Water, and a Rockstars Roofing Systems, Omunyana Ebwaye. Sound of our time, so Edu Motors, your light has come, UPI, formerly near from Uniat Practical Institute, Provident Insurance with Provident, Man, you are covered, and Agbeve Herbal Center. Omunyana Ebwaye, the sound of our time, it to me. Ebremo. In the Mayan Shasiana and a Yenntua demonstration akoso ewon kran ha led by the NDC Youth Wing. And Edem was there. The dress no the bar studio out to say demonstration and easy. Edem. And Yenntua demo matters arise and how did it go, baby? From where you sit at net saying
all the protesters now move about an upper way for the Yenntua demonstration. No. Now, that demonstration, you use just a couple of days to do the organization. And we are very impressed with the attendance. And demonstration now a coalition of concerned Ghanaians led by Miami Boss, the national youth organizer of the NDC, lawyer George Opariado, Obia Freno Pablo, now the leader of the coalition. A coalition because various interest groups, they joined the NDC to do this. There were groups to say concerned students of Ghana, led by students who are aggrieved about youth tax strike and other issues that affect you as students. Yenya leadership of NAPCO 4, they were there.
Okay.
Mobile money operators, mobile Makola Market Women Association for buyer, leaders no Kasaya Newo or Brasport, Okada riders or mobile concerned drivers, and various groups. There were Justice for Ghana, led by Comrade Bernard Monamo. I mean, all of these groups, Adam GH, Care Ghana, they were all there. It's in a friend coalition of concerned Ghanaians. It wasn't just the NDC, but it was led by the National Youth Organizer of the NDC. You start here from Obrasport. You free Obrasport almost 9 o'clock. And I end in the forefront of Parliament. I presented a petition to the leadership of the House. Petition also, apart from the technical staff of Parliament, Public Affairs Director, Obese Kate Adomo, and other leaders, we had the majority chief whip, the Honorable Anodompre,
yes,
and the leadership of the minority in Parliament, led by Honorable Haruna Indrisu, receive a petition on behalf of the Speaker. Yesterday, we whilst doing the planning, we presented 2 petitions, one to the president and one to Parliament. But along the line, you realize all the interest groups now invite you or they have lost confidence in President Akufo-Addo and in Agbana. Until you decided the only people on to me are save is here Parliament. Now Parliament there were 275 members of Parliament.
Yes.
Fortunately for us, there were 137 BR. They have stood their grounds to defend the interest of the people of Ghana. Now the other side, 137 plus 1 now independent. Me missing our brother, the Honorable Japan account. You can see clearly say almost they have decided that no matter what, they want the e-levy pass. Even though Omunim say, e-levy no, unpopular among Omu constituents. And see, you presented petition no, to let Parliament know, say, the hope and trust of Ghanaians in Parliament way so. And so, it will take Parliament to either reject or accept. But say, President Akufo-Addo now by now, we have no confidence in them. Because we share Omu posturing. To the extent, say, initially, Finance Minister Bahas because Ghana for there is general consensus among the people of Ghana say they want the e-levy. It was really ridiculous because Obi, all the stakeholders, apart from 137 NDC MPs, MPP MPs, 137 MPP MPs plus one independent, any Omo members of cabinet, MPP members are who are going to be the biggest beneficiary of this ET free e-levy. No? Tell me the stakeholders are expressing support for this e-levy. Now, Obi e-levy no, and I started conversation on e-levy. Now, say if there is general consensus, as Finance Minister reported, why are they still going around the country to now do consultative meetings through the town hall meetings? If there is already general consensus, they should have gone ahead. And then I will see there's a general consensus again for be almost per e-levy. And yet, who can say you want to go withdraw the bill in our parliament to make modifications to reduce it to 1.5. So 1.5 now 1.75 and I agree on. You came out to say that the people of Ghana wanted e-levy. Now you see, we are saying in the NDC and members of the coalition here can say we are not saying it's Ghana or Ghanaians should not pay taxes to this government. FM. Now taxes, the Oko baby, we pay taxes to develop the country. But already in Obi, we are paying several taxes. Now, person who raises 6.9 billion from e-levy. And Obi sa minister biya. As if say e-levy na be omu magic one. Obi abekazo na mutia e-levy. We will get schools, we will get hospitals, yabenya roads and all of that. And Ukraine, it is unrealistic. Make go into the figures. But Obi, everything shows that 6.9 billion, it cannot do anything for this government. And I can say, let's assume class open 6.9 billion. Yema alternatives. Alternatives, yema how to cut down on expenditure and make savings using to fund the so-called development projects they are talking about. Now, remember example, Obi. When him say, according to the Auditor General's report, every year, annually, Ghana, you lose 12 billion to irregularities, and that 12 billion cannot be accounted for. That is according to the Auditor General's report. Now, you can say, seal the loopholes. Now, you make it savings. Seal the loopholes and make savings. Secondly, government expenditure. Now, we call even the office of the government machinery. Mm-hmm. Look at the allocations, make it to all of these places. Let's see, we are in difficult times. Make savings. Now, Agbana, Anya, over 341 billion in 4 years. Wasting on that government is now claiming, say, here 6.9 billion to save the economy. Roads Minister Kasembe or say pay e-levy to be able to pay all road contractors. Obi, mobile money operators, any telecommunication companies no catch say. From the day now, I'm making announcements. The government intends to charge e-levy. No, mobile money transactions have dropped drastically. So, it means
I've read the story.
You've read the story. What it means, they say 6.9 billion krana project. It is not realistic. They cannot realize it. And then government is already owing road contractors over 4.5 billion. Is it out of the 6.9 billion now? 4.5 billion. No? Is that what they are claiming? Now, the same e-levy, Minister of Agriculture, without e-levy, to me and top fertilizers subsidies, your friends and farmers across the country. Health Ministry, Ministry of Education. I'm yet to hear from Honorable Mercer and the ministry, but also they are relying on the same e-levy. Now, according to the budget, now budget deficit is about 13 billion. Now 6.9 billion, what can it do for you?
Ekosiisen
The can say this e-levy is nothing but plenty free. And yeah, as the coalition of concerned Ghanaians, we will not allow the Akufo-Addo government to tax us momo. Before you ever start, now Dr. Gideon Boako was here. Obisani say, Ghana for say, where is Dr. Bawumia? Okay, said the same Dr. Bawumia. Or say, Dr. Bawumia cannot speak on every issue. I have two responses for Dr. Gideon Boako and Dr. Bawumia. First one is say, Dr. Bawumia and now your vice president, he cannot speak on every issue. Because when he tweets, the lectures now on my year prior to 2016, every single issue attaching on the border on economics, any finance, Dr. Bawumia was at the foot. He was the poster boy of Akufo-Addo on issues of the economy and finance. And now our vice president, our head of the economic management team, big issue be to say e-levy government can say and no now here before they can pursue development. No, also he cannot speak on every issue. Secondly, Dr. Bawumia acting now with sister station can say they do not intend to tax mobile money transactions. So and then I will introduce e-levy. He should come out and tell us between time now or granted our interview and what has changed that warrants that change in mind. Say and then who person who tax mobile money. Apart from that, Obi, now who mobile money e-levy nankasa, it simply doesn't make sense. It simply doesn't make sense because a defeatee all the principles in taxation. Now, Obi, I'm working with a company. The month no so omutua my salary into my account. Now me moving me sika from my account to my mobile money because ABI is Saturday and Sunday just for me to be able to do transaction. When him say banks no omu charges already. Now sa salary no Agbana already has deducted omu taxes bebre on my salary. Internet now Agbana into my account. I'm moving from my account to my Momo no. Already the banks have their charges. But to me the messages bebre from my bank. Anytime I'm here withdrawal from my account, for the purpose of not promoting any bank, no, I will not tell you my bank. But to me the message is natural. Now Obi, it's a bank no already charges no transaction charges now. Afe sikano ba mi mobile money na se me ka se o ebia. Me wo fabi e wo baby. Honorable Egyapa mesa o ye MP. O constituents be ehia sika to go to the hospital and na bibisa. Say me concern this sika man already no telecommunication companies no they already charge a 1% on it. In addition to that no Osambe added 1.5 or 1.75% of e-levy. And no double taxation. After Sasikano me send ABA 200 Ghana cedis. Emma mi offer. That's also call withdrawal at the mobile money vendor. Also no that 200 he cannot access all the 200 on himself because there are still some transaction costs on Usubeye. So all we are saying is the e-levy doesn't make sense. Secondly, Obi, from 2002, the World Bank are making several investments in Ghana to promote what they call cashless society. Obi, who going to some countries recently? Now me call Europe call program B. Who going to some shops and I'm sure the Honorable Mercer will agree with me. Ube call shop now much sure also say no cash transactions. Either say ube use a bank card, or Visa card, and ube payment with mobile money. And that is what they are doing because they want to promote cashless societies. It's if there is anything buying here to promote a cashless society, it is not to make transactions on digital platforms more expensive. Because what that will do is say, me say go into any shop say koto ade na say me ni cash. Me sika nyina wo me mobile money. Na say me to ade 200 Ghana cedis. Who to ade 200 cedis. Who the cash etua. I will pay the 200 cedis. Sa 200 no the mobile company no telecommunication company no omu charges they will still deduct. And then 1.75% of e-levy will still be added. What it means is say you and I know you thought the same thing, but the value of my transaction is more costly. And then
because I decided to go cashless. Meanwhile, no, yeah, everything possible to promote a cashless society. Obi, and conversations around e-levy. Me, Edem Agbana, my conclusion is the government does not need e-levy. What they need is e-sense. Now, e-sense, no, Obi say, what does it really mean? It can mean no, a economic sense because resources now here, they need economic sense, e-sense, to be able to manage it. Now, the imposition of new levies, they say e-levy, and now, everybody buying way to pursue development. Agbana today, meaning say we are headed to over 90% debt to GDP ratio. Ghana. Meanwhile, 2012, construct presidential debate. President Akufo-Addo, then candidate Akufo-Addo, can say any economy debt to GDP more than 56%. That economy is in crisis. And then he came to meet debt to GDP at 56%. He has moved it to over 83%. And all the projections, if we don't manage the debt situation now, by 2024, now Ghana's debt will get to over 90, debt to GDP, by more than 90% of the economy, of the GDP. It's Obi, everything we are in crisis. All the credible rating agencies, are down. They are downgrading Ghana. Nothing is happening. Now the other can say, what the government needs is not more money. Governments need integrity to be able to manage the little that we have. What the government needs is e-sense to be able to manage the economy, salvage the economy. E-levy will not pass today, will not pass tomorrow. Now, yeah, as a coalition there, like I say, and then just the beginning of a journey. We will go to all the 16 regions, including Honorable Egyapa and the constituency, and the constituents member out to demonstrate against the e-levy. In conclusion, Obi, MPP for ni Amukasa for Agbana creating impression to say this is the first time Ghanaians are going to pay taxes. Almost creating impression say as if say, oh, you need to pay tax for development. Don't be against tax. No country can develop without tax. Now can say your friend is a Ghana beyond aid. This is what we mean. Any sign your money na Obi. Then you in trouble because we already are overburdened with lots of taxes. Obi a liter of petrol. Bear 7.4. Now, so break the eight now, Mukano. There are only two things that they can use to break the eight. Winning power is not part of them. First one, prices of fuel. Meaning, say, from the way almost super incompetence, no, so glaring, and almost so clueless, say, they are not showing any signs of their ability to deal with economic challenges now. We will be breaking the eight with fuel prices before the end of this year. Second one, depreciation. Okay, say 2017. Dr. Baumia, head of economic management, or catch so we arrested we no dollar no. Heading out to prison all the Kinama IGP. Even in prison, and the CD against the dollar no. The CD is still depreciating. You will be some places will be changing we no at 6.4, 6.5. A bit will call 6.6 because there's no confidence in your currency. Dr. Baumia Kachre Chrome has said, Ghana has the depreciation of the CD is a sign of the weakness of the CD, of the economy. The CD is depreciating at this rate. He, as head of economic management team, they should stop telling us that he cannot speak on everything. Apart from moving from church to church, I hear preaching. They say digital this. About bread and butter issues. They did not sell Bahomia to us, say, or your IT technician. Almost turn Bahomia to the people of Ghana, say, or your economic messiah. Why is he running away from the economy? Now, your team. Okay. That's a work of top striker. You see, striker away there to me, go. Now, the striker never. Or say, oh, ball no cut touch, and I mean, I'm a ball no bar. You have no goal to your credit. So, that striker is a striker worth considering. It's Obi. The two things that will break the eight for Ghana, CD, no. This poor management of the CD. Resulting in the CD crossing the 8. The poor management of the economy and the taxes now imposing in the petroleum sector will make sure say fuel prices, a liter of petrol will cross the 8 apart from that, no, this incompetent, this inept, this failed government of Akufo-Addo does not have the confidence of the people of Ghana and can never break the eight.
Thank you. Edem Agbana any attending Kano Honorable Andrew Egyapa Mercer ebebem na answer ma menkan mo say Jata Cement the disclaimer bi aba wo say mekan mama me pamocho munyi masum na muntie ne ye mame. Jata Cement the only wholly indigenous Ghanaian cement brand. In the cement ye wo Ghana ha Ghana for na company na no is 100% owned by a Ghanaian Jata Cement. Now, almost will be biato at any of the authorized distributors and as a retail agent around the country. The good news is auto Jata Cement bag bakwa cement a woman endorse saying all the other brands in the Jata Cement you get more out of a bag of Jata Cement than any other brand on the market. Now, yepesi e mamu etemo ho ase set nan saying ni pebinom edi yendin ebu amanfo efa so a yempe se sa de ne ebeto edi tie ne tie we emame se obi frɛw se oye agent emada Jata Cement especially se one wo chat on social media na ade no one say you fake because Jata Cement yenton on social media na ye turn through our accredited distributors and retailers across the country. Obi obeka so turn Jata Cement on social media no ochantro. Jata Cement nso enya de ye running promotion bi as cement boy at so 30 cities and as 35 cities and also obi can be sa kirewa a scam ocha wontro. Jata Cement transaction bi any why jiska setua yen cut through momo dabi. Obeto Jata Cement e wo yen distributors hwa and as retailers hwa kɔwɔn hɔ ne kɔkɔtɔ ne tue wo sika de ma wɔn yenye sika turu momo obi ka se tue sika turu momo na ɔmrɛ Jata Cement nipa no ɔyɛ fake but mo ne sɛ woni obi edili ɛfa Jata Cement ho a verify the real identity of the person anya sa ne wakɔtua wo sika e de ama obi sɛ wonte bibia so pese wo bosam a Jata Cement so ye number you use ye baako pɛ only one official number 0241 941 846 0241 941 846. Now in income Jata Cement building for generations. Now and there is good news for young people in Suamutie. So we are young entrepreneur and we Mercer must be tie amame. We are young entrepreneur bibi wa tax laws mo yimu bibiri na enim. Ba ende ne wosi ebiem na mu nyina motemo ho ase. Young entrepreneurs from some selected businesses the amount of tax exemption for 5 years. And it's how you're an entrepreneur in any of these sectors. So we're in manufacturing, or information and communications technology, ICT, or in agro processing, or energy production, waste processing, tourism and creative art, horticulture and medicinal plant. We entrepreneur in any of these sectors you don't need to pay income tax on these activities for your first 5 years of operation. A young entrepreneur engaged in business that enjoys an initial 5-year concession benefit would benefit from the following applicable tax rate for an additional 5 years. Accra and Tema, the amount of 15% tax breaks. Other regional capitals outside the 3 northern regions, they 12.5%. Outside other regional capitals, 10%. In the 3 northern regions, I have 5%. Michelle, ebia de maka e wasum hunya won tenio ma se. Ukọ any GRA officer ben wo a ombe kire wo mu. Ghana Revenue Authority, integrity, fairness and service. Lawyer Egyapa Mercer, eba choma mintio.
Obi. Got demonstration the chair or your constitutional right. The Agbana policy we implement now. Who Asambika. Nka going on demonstration day. On your bad. But it's not he say Edem Agbana. Now I'm observe from afar. Demonstration and NDC for when in there. Muraho.
For the reasons now.
Was in there.
Ekosiisen on Asempa FM.
Come any problem. Sanokwar. But it's not surprising to me. Wasn't there? Them parties here. I did the Wumbugana fu. And now what you gonna fu sebi. And I gin on the hole. And now there. Ma wahwehwa ni tum nti ma wobeka bia obabro wontum no obaka. It's a party that is founded on deception. Nanya party is na wakacha Ghana for the 2020 election we win okotubo we ase wokokwadina Supreme Court they will need evidence about the outcome of the election. So it's not surprising. One track record convinces me that more than what kebia ofudobotum wa da dankrofo will be 2007.
Ekosiisen on Asempa FM.
Samama okutubo ya so kaje na your short memory. Nti ibia na wa start wo ye. Nyadama kadama makeno demonstration de I will write there about to my then ako. Obi, didn't see makadam. Edem America so say ye do debt to GDP ratio of 83%. Indeed, one of the ratings agencies were provided them figure no finance minister na the team will respond. That agency itself came back to correct it. That young crossing 80, but we are there, almost there. It's not in doubt. Now, say, ojitum there, yen debt burden we do 80%. A responsible opposition would ask that, hey, can we go further on that route? If not, what are the alternatives?
Ekosiisen on Asempa FM.
Fuel price increases. Yes. Across the world. Prices of fuel is running. Why? Global supply chain disruptions. You know, the studio here, I just send them US Consumer Price Index. We do 7.9% over the past year. Mainly arising out of the issues of 2020. COVID. Yeah, can also, BBR, a blaming on COVID. Unless, of course, there, NDC full, like I said, we feel the bottom will dwell on maybe some ignorance of some people to deceive.
Ekosiisen on Asempa FM.
But here's situation. It's not only COVID. Agbana Chim, there look. 2019, in fact 2017, yaba abanim. Banks 8 from Bank of Ghana one credit risk assessment in the past.
FM.
Then vice presidential candidate Baumio Kanwasam. If nothing was done, those banks were going to collapse and the consequences would be dire for the economy. 4.5 million Ghanaian depositors, one scar running into billions, were going to be lost. Aban had to borrow in excess of 20 billion to save those Ghanaians from losing their funds. NDC for power purchase agreements I was signing.
Ekosiisen on Asempa FM.
$500 million per year for power we do not need and never consume.
Asempa FM.
Obi, but the IMF electricity demand supply analysis, but actually our studio had that. Clearly, if you look at the peak demand, the yen installed an available capacity pre-2015 and what they added from 2015 to 2020, peak demand one cross black line of the pre-2015 figure. Effectively, no power purchase agreement that they signed that was added to our electricity generation was ever consumed, but we paid for it. Cost money. Government borrowed. In Sabakaya, 2019 budget. Abanosisi the miskeni nano osne no. Yan regular budgetary revenue and expenditure. These extraordinary items. Yade kawa. We cannot monitor to see our performance. Inti we below the line reporting. Okay. For good reason. Unfortunately, 2020, COVID hit. Government, in order to protect Ghanaian lives and livelihoods, contracted huge sums of money to protect Ghanaians. To the point that the debt to GDP ratio, in fact, all the rest of the extraordinary items in the energy sector payments and also
Asempa FM.
Banking sector cleanup have been added together such that now our debt to GDP ratio is gotten to a pointer. Saban's Noroko the same route to finance the end deficit, parliamentary approval. It will be acting irresponsibly. Inti, rather than borrow more, let's look inward and raise some additional financing through this tax handler. Obviously, because of investment are making reference to. And government's own investment, together with the private sector telco players, or drive all the transactions to. Such that between 3 years, mobile money transactions have moved from 78 million Ghana cedi to almost 1 billion. It comes down to what? 1.50 on 100 cedi. Obi, did any naron you know? Question that I asked, and you see, I'll make a statement been a lesson. Also, Auditor General say every year you make about the irregularities of 12 billion.
12 billion.
Is it factual? Maybe so they didn't know. Because they are not being led by the truth. Auditor General's report in Ayakan. But throw the figures out, confuse the people, and dwell on that, to gain political capital. But we are responsible.
Ekosiisen on Asempa FM.
And MPP Aban, yes, see, we owe a duty to Ghanaians. They look. Yaba Abanim, they were under an IMF program. Yen GDP growth rate was 3.4%. We consistently grew the economy average 7% for 3 years. In spite of all the costs that we incurred to clean your mess. Ghana, all our economic indicators were looking positive. In fact, global ratings agencies were all touting the performance of government. But we are where we are. The impact of COVID on the global economy, debt our countries will accumulate. Indeed, the most recent ratings, more than 40 countries were downgraded. But look at the doomsday picture that they paint. Look at the doomsday that all hell has broken loose. To the point that Edem Agbana can open his mouth and say that Akufo-Addo government is incompetent. Edem. The man, Jesus Christ. Obi. Murahu.
Oh, Abadinta.
Near Kanokara. In Kadamasam Yab Demobutu Aka.
Why don't you manka?
Mrs. Sayakanokara. The situation that is confronting our economy. And finance minister didn't mean words. Truth
Asempa FM.
is what led the decision that government is taking. Obiso won't go IMF. Oh, yes. Going to IMF is an option. Why not? Yanko Hoda.
Yakoda.
Abba prescription was the man. Cut public sector employment. Cut social spending. Cut. And increase revenue. Mutoya. Cut expenditure. Government on signal indication to cut expenditure even after budget approval.
Yeah, by
Ekosiisen on
20%.
Asempa FM.
And the IMF prescription of raising revenue. In fact, yeah, you see, the target is Dr. Baumia. Because Wusronu Koko. You people are afraid of him. Because between him, I pray to God. If he is selected as our presidential candidate, between me and Mr. Mama, no match. Yeah, Dr. Gindobanko Tinama okay, or shame. If any systems in place, sir, how can you build a modern economy? Obi. President Kufuor started national ID card system. So what you know, they were in government for 8 solid years. They couldn't do it. Okay, you make progress. Dr. Baumia, first statement about
Ekosiisen on
digitalizing
Asempa FM.
yen economy. He was nowhere near the vice presidency. Cheche them lecture. No. That's a man with vision. That look, yeah, koduya yeah ad hoc economic management. And let's focus on building the systems. Make sure that the Ghana card system works. Make sure that you do a backward integration of all our data systems so that you can have a base to transform the economy. What will be that? Into target na Baumia. But the transformational things that under his able leadership, that of His Excellency the President, I pray to God that never ever again should God allow Ghana food to be deceived by the NDC. Obaba kra nyen dead nochna. O send the gains ye making nano. What bape? We know.
Ekosiisen on Asempa FM.
It's obi here. Msrawo. It's a fool. Msrawan. E-levy issue no is simple. And look, There's no inconsistency in Dr. Baumiani's belief with what he said in the past, that he doesn't believe that this mobile money transactions ought to be taxed. Of course, if COVID had not hit, all these extraordinary expenditures that government would have made would not have been made. You think we'll be having this conversation? No, Miss Wasam. We wouldn't be having this conversation. But we are at a critical point. Cutting expenditure can be done even beyond the 20%. In fact, all the systems are abandoned to Ghana.gov. It's all intended to take out the human element that then brings about some of the irregularities. But this critical point where we have reached, we need to gather all that we can
Asempa FM
to ensure that you sustain economy, you reduce your debt burden, whilst at the same time growing the economy. And if government is calling on Ghanaians to burden share, after all the policies and programs that the government did, especially in 2020, which was directed at protecting Ghanaian lives, was because government needed Ghanaians alive. How government of Ghana was able to manage the COVID in the manner that it did. So why can't we be honest and truthful about it? But you see, one other reason, Edem's handles 6.9 billion on your fee. Hey, Obi, Mekadamoko Parliament first in one. The Honorable Kenofurato will reading the first budget. The minority leader, Haruna Idrusu, in contributing to the debate. Also, the speaker, where is the fiscal space?
Ekosiisen on Asempa FM.
Fiscal space. Edem you free SHS, 1 million per constituency, 1 district, 1 factory, because only 3 budget items consume 99.7% of your tax
revenue.
And now, the intelligent, hard-working Ghanaian, Kenofurata, or the Capping and Realignment Act Bay. Immediately, he was able to create physical space, ultimately the funding critical infrastructure in the government flagship programs. You remember when they went to the IMF, the last IMF program Yeka signed on to. 18 months after signing on, not one benchmark had been achieved when they were in government. Not one. How much did we go to the IMF for? 909 million.
Yeah, 900 million.
In today's cities, 6.4 billion. You found 1 billion. Mm-hmm. That money was disbursed over 3 years. Okay. In fact, in 2015 dollars, it was less. But it was good enough to give them policy credibility and space to manage the rigidities within the budget based on the mismanagement that they had occasioned the economy of this country. Yet they say that if we are able to raise 6.9 billion per year on your head, but the truth of the matter is that they know there's an Agbana and Kobobosa to increase our debt burden. Now, so to raise them scale from within. That money can give government space to do some additional programs that may not inure to their advantage in 2024. Inti yente. One suba newa would story be no First Kings or something. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The 2 ladies who
Solomon
Nedeno. Exactly what the NDC is doing. that won't pay levy moon so that Ghana for bread between now and 2024.
Ekosiisen on
Aban
Asempa
on
FM.
struggle on kotumwaye so that they would get the benefit in their view in 2024. That is the sole purpose of the objection to the e-levy. If they were being truthful to the people and coming around the table to say that, look, where we have gotten to as a country, we as an opposition build the economy in such that when we are fortunate to come, we wouldn't have too much problems to deal with in any event. And because problems now also cry and to deal with. In no ebia levy no odosun. In yen from kakra. Ne yen start ne yen she. Ne say kwen enim kakra de increase no kra na. You can do that. That is what I expect from a opposition, which has this country at heart.
Asempa
But they're only
FM.
thinking about their political interest. Ghana folk can go to wherever. The economy can go into shambles. So long as they can take advantage of the situation that not only Ghana, the entire world
Ekosiisen
is
on
suffering
Asempa
from.
FM.
That's the NDC for you. Once I'm a catcher, the baby other parties will catch all the person. Now, you're free. You need to donate. Sulia. Nanko Bandan. And the two political opposing competitors. What ball? According to them, MPP is your own goal. Next your own goal. Nanchana win. Yes, your own goal end is in winning. Maybe so awesome. But also, no, yet mention own goal. Oh. None of the Manchester United, a Bentley Wobble, so it tells you that their motives are not altruistic. They are not sincere. They think that deception should be what should guide their political decisions. That this is a government that when it came to power
Ekosiisen on
reduced
Asempa
and
FM.
abolished nuisance taxes that Mr. Mahama or catch your hand there. Well, it's not his pleasure. Check it. That as a president, he has to take hard decisions. He doesn't impose taxes for the sake of it. But in Tubuana, Ojijido, none of the Ejuma, Ghana for warfare. This is the government that exited the IMF program successfully. Put the economy on a sound footing in spite of the cost that they had to pay for their recklessness. So if we got into this point, now Banisi, look, let's all burden share. May you make sure that you bring your debt within control, whilst growing our economy, creating jobs through the youth start for the myriad of youth. Because of your economic situation, you to build it up to a certain level. When you create entrepreneurship spirit in the Ghanaian people. Now you see some specific expenditure items through this levy, including roads
Ekosiisen
and
on
protecting
Asempa FM.
the cyberspace where these transactions are taking place. What's one thing?
Oh, Yene San Mam.
Onya Rohubia.
Mate, Onyonko Kojoedu Asare there. Obi, please tell my friend Honorable Mercer to be careful not to rupture his hernia, as he always says. He is training himself too much on the e-levy. Ghanaians have already made up their minds. Kojo Edu Asare. And Raubekayan Sawaha. There is one here from Obatampa Frances Irabna Esiam. Also, hi Obi, the NDC are just an electoral daydreaming entity. No iota of a sustainable development agenda. Talk, raving, and hollering basa. Tell them the 11 years of Rawlings' pseudo-revolution and 8 years of Mills Mahama lackluster credibility-seeking government gave Ghana, give us a break and tell Ghanaians what you will do. Azan, that's what she says. Regards to Honorable Egyapa, Mercer. That's from Obatampa, Francais, Irabna, Esiam. Obi, I think one other thing that infuriates unions who engage in these periodic strike rituals is how some people tag them as being politically motivated each time they openly demand what's due them by law via strikes. We should learn to respect these unions, for everyone knows when he or she is thirsty without being reminded. Jomo Pokwase Festus Nidia Odiaba Eni. Obi, please, any update on Mensa Thompson? Nanam Ponsabi, they are coming through with this one. Nanam Ponsa, unfortunately, I don't know. Whereas Obi, the MPs is at it again, this time with their failed youth front to protest against the e-levy, which would help Ghana in our post-COVID delivery phase. I urge Ghanaians not to be swayed by their posturing and continue to have faith in the Akufo-Addo administration. Jesse Behene is in a Beka Nedie Enie. Okay, I'll come back. Samuel Ablodepe again says that good afternoon, Obi. I commend the great NDC and the coalition of concerned Ghanaians for a successful demonstration against the vampire e-levy in the US of A and other countries. Citizens are happy paying taxes because it benefits the masses, especially pro-poor. At JFK Airport, you need to pay $6 to get a trolley to carry your luggage out of the airport, and people pay gleefully. Do you know how much government will bask into her coffers if it charges 5 cedis or 10 cedis per trolley at the airport to each passenger arriving or departing? That kind of tax makes sense because it's targeted at a particular group of people, certainly not the e-levy, which would adversely affect the poor and ordinary citizens. One step at a time. Greetings to Edem, Samuel, Ablodepe, and on the way, Abba. Meba Edem, Hona, Mathieu, or non, so as we pick our second round. But before that, no Prime Jewel promotion is still on. Prime Insurance Air Chenioma to the tune of 500,000 Ghana cedis. Please go out there, sign up, renew or upgrade your motor, homeowners, commercial fire, and allied peril policies with Prime Insurance. Now, unya ye emubia, whether you renew, whether you sign up or upgrade, ye chewadi kwa instantly we draw be any raffle be any ye chewadi fresh. Prime Insurance was 0208598216, 0208598216, and 0302229062. Now on the Prime Insurance in the Nkomo. You can catch the excitement at Melcom Supermarket. Visit any Melcom shop nationwide and enjoy shopping on the widest range of supermarket items at the lowest prices possible. Melcom, the original CD saver. Terms and conditions apply. Melcom, where Ghana shops. Edem.
Obi, I think, sir, Honorable Egyapa Mercer, just like many other NPP propagandists, omukasa about the economy, they have repeated some lies. I want to correct just a few. The first one, Okase, Dr. Baumia, he has not shifted the principle on taxing mobile money transactions. Now, COVID, and Emma government expenditure, Ekosrua, a warranty these e-levy. Obi, Dr. Baumia granted some interview to my sister station, Peace FM, in August 2020.
Okay.
In August 2029, any COVID was Ghana. It was actually in August, around that period, and at the COVID situation, no, West, or granted interview, no, knowing very well, say now you were COVID, It is a person who uses COVID as a cover up to cover the shameful shifting of goalposts of your vice president or your head of economic management team on taxing mobile money. The records are there to expose you. Say Enyenukre, he made those statements at the time na COVID was Ghana.
FM.
Secondly, COVID by this government has benefited from several grants and supports, including 430 million now Muji from the World Bank. Muji 1 billion FIMF.
Was that 1-2 grant? Was that not a loan?
A loan. But yet Muji Sika, so it is high expenditure no. So 1 billion now Muji no, you are not expected to pay it immediately. And Ukraine war, I think some laxity period of 5 to 10 years. It said there is pressure on you to pay those loans. I say, and you are imposing e-levy. This does not change the fact say Dr. Baumia, as head of economic management team, and Agbana, they have shifted their position on e-levy. Secondly, Egyapa makes a account about the growth of the economy. Say from 2017, for 3 good years now, maintaining high growth of the economy. Obi, on the 2nd of November 2016, at the time, then President John Dramani Mahama, the visionary, Obi Biakra Digital Center, let your producers give you the speech on that day. Okay, said the economy is projected to grow by 8% in the coming year. That time was MPP in power.
No.
But at the end, President Mahama accurately predicted, say, from the coming year, no, economy will grow by 8% plus. And indeed, you losing power, no, it happened. Didn't ya? Did you know some people have power? Unim, the only thing responsible for such growth now, no more can there be almost 30 growth, no, a oil and gas sector. Obi, because the government statistician on a report in 2018. Inside report, no, and I have a copy here. Bloomberg, a report here. In that report, no, Ghana's economic growth of over 8%, no, was accounted for by over 80.4% growth in oil and gas production. Now, you see, oil and gas production in 2017, no, and then we are Deputy Minister of Energy. What was the investment MPP government made in the oil and gas sector in that time? The only thing is, Obi, NDC we met only 1 oil well. But by the visionary leadership of John Mahama and NDC, no, the words mienu kaun, the Sankofa field and the 10th field edi kaun. But those 2 streams, no, wells, no, they came to stream in 2017. So at the time NDC World Power 2016, the total average of oil production was just about 90,000 barrels a day. But as I say, investment na NDC making in the economy, no, in the oil and gas sector, your production will increase to about 200,000 barrels on the average. If there is anything I accounting for growth in the economy in 2017 now Mukana, it was projected by the NDC because a investment now you make here. Obi, another report, Betreo, in 2018, IMF report indicates Ghana will be overtaken by Ethiopia as the fastest growing economy until Ethiopia for Ebenya these their internal security challenges and civil war and these things too. Their economy was projected to overtake Ghana. Now, cancer reports now indicate for close to a decade, Ghana's economy was the fastest growing in Africa. Close to a decade. This report was in 2018. Now, close to a decade, which government within that period spent most time in government? NDC. It's Ghana becoming fastest growing economy and all of those things. President Akufo-Addo cannot take credit. It's Obi. Usha oil production, that's how we take the oil and gas sector out of Ghana's growth. Meanwhile, that sector, no, you have made no investment there at the time.
Asempa FM.
That is what accounted for the growth of the economy in 2017. You cannot say it is some supernatural management of the economy. Obi, back to e-levy. Honorable Japan Mercer created that impression is we cannot go and borrow again. Until because of 80% now he is disputing the figure, but I'll say we are close to that place. But Obi, two things. Okay, it sounded so funny to me. Now, you catch Ghana for in 2016, you will not borrow. At the time, I'm making all those promises. I am borrow. We will not borrow. We know where the money is. My Juma Bank of Ghana. Now, minimum says na mismanagement. And you are on the borrowing spree. No? Are you not aware? Were you not aware? Say, if you continuously borrow without paying back, now you borrow, and when you borrow, you put it into consumption. Nothing with productivity. Obi, why won't we get to a situation where no investor, both local and international, interested in investing in the economy of Ghana? It's all of these things, no HRSA. Even our credit now, offer for Ghana being the fastest growing at a point, growing over 8%. No, what we are experiencing today is the real outcome of economic decisions now we're taking. But from 2017 to 2018, say 80.4% growth in the oil and gas production, which was occasioned by the investment at John Mahama in this year, we would have been doomed by now. Now be 11 in the year can say we will not pay it today. Now you see, also per 6.9 billion. The money yes require say every sector of the economy, almost your banking or hopes on the e-levy. For example, Mema say roads minister say no here e-levy to be able to construct all roads. And I may say already no, you owe these contractors 4.5 billion. Let's assume class e-levy no and cut into only road production or road construction. The air can say only 4.5 million no free. How much is left? Also, who the all the roads. And then Misanti almost say without it they cannot provide fertilizers. Almost say without it they cannot embark on the youth start program. What him say? At the time MPP are buying and introducing that youth start program no in their budget as a flagship program. It was in the mid-year budget of 2021. President Akufo-Addo at the commissioning of mosques now Kanda Highway no Nima or can say they are about to embark on a program that provided 3 million jobs. At that time, now your e-levy. At that time, now your name say COVID expenditure. If there is anything about way NIA from COVID, it was an opportunity for them to do propaganda, an opportunity for them to loot and loot more. Obi, it's a Usha government expenditure. The way I manage the economy now, and yet 6.9 billion projection are almost expected from e-levy. And I with anything. They say no e-levy, every sector almost say, but for e-levy, we can't do anything. The air can say, Moana must say, it is a castle. Moana must say, you know where the money is. Now, Mukasa, we know where the money is. No, it is not in the pocket of Ghanaians. Me save you on my mobile money. And I me save you on my bank. I me call me transaction. You want to charge me for it. Meanwhile, I'm already paying several charges using these platforms. As for the e-levy, it is going to affect the economy in such a way, say, Obi. Recently, Nami can reports be about mobile money transactions. So, technicians, the developers, or developing platform. The conclusion, okay, about this loan, quick loan, any express loan now, you know, say, ye telcos no on mobile money. Omo calculate the net effect of e-levy on it. No, omo conclude say it will lead to the collapse. Meaning, they have paid hospital bills with quick loans omuji from their telcos. I know people who have paid school fees partially to be able to register with money omu borrow from these platforms. And these are the developers. Omu politicians they are just opposing for opposing sake. They have given you cogent reason to say omu sa platform e-levy you are going to collapse all of these platforms. Afe Obi, policy formulation meaning say the process is not cast in stone. But Obian him say policy ben and I introducing you and I consultation. O say multi cabinet, you have thought about it, and that is the best you can come out with. Mamusi Ghana for have agreed to it. Afe, you are moving around from town to town, say move your town hall meeting to do consultation. Consultation on what? Now when a policy formulation, consultation on the policy comes after you have introduced the outcome. Obi, the coalition embarking on the demonstration. Youth, and Ghanaians who are concerned, can say we will only accept the e-levy if it is reduced to 0.000%. You better accept it.
In other words, when it is scrapped, you want it scrapped.
E-levy, no, there's almost 1.5.
Yes.
Reduce it. But how reduce here? Oh yeah, no 0.000001. Zero no does to say from studio how could do secondary crana. We will not enter one better so we will not accept it until it is 0.00%. 11 idea. It will not be accepted because you see way enough is enough. When you follow back is one of the respectable economists and our can say you don't pamper a sports child with more meat. You teach the person how to manage the one that you already have. What this government needs is not more money. You need integrity. You need ideas. Sure. Me share a video no ask Dr. Baumia was announcing the economic management team. Obama say, what a team. Now what a team no, if this is the outcome, this e-levy, COVID levy, the minimum more levies, more taxes, mismanagement, corruption, and that is not the way to go. E-levy need here. And
that's the position of the coalition.
And that is the position of the coalition, Obi.
Fantastic. And that's Edem Agbana, a deputy national youth organizer for the opposition NDC. And or the official announcement about your next move. Edem. Maybe official announcement about your next move.
Also announcement need them the beba. Me the beba. But I said we were Juma yo.
Juma mention. It drew my way Juma. It drew a bay Juma. Go Mercer.
Some no do
But is it something government will consider to think of even scrapping it?
At the time that Dr. Baumia was making that statement,
yes,
in August, could he have known what the outcome of COVID would be?
In August, okay, that was the year the COVID.
So what are we talking about?
By August, no, that was our worst situation.
What? But who could predict? Who could predict where COVID was going to take us to?
I don't believe.
Mercy. Oh, I'm coming. Who could have envisioned that COVID would have taken more than 2 million lives across the world? So look, of course, people, it's only a fool and a madman, ultimately, who don't change their mind. And my indicator actually there, COVID compounded young problem. Unintended any problem. Because Obi document a Sunday morning. That was a disaster waiting to happen. From 2015, look at the megawatt of power that they added to our generation capacity. And look at the black line.
The red line.
The red line. Did we consume any of that thing that they added?
And the capacity added since 2015 is the light blue, the sea blue one. Jackson Wayne Brabrana Beji.
So these are matters that we ought to deal with. Of course, renegotiation of power purchase agreements be deferring has saved us almost 1.3 billion of money that would have paid. So let's not joke with the sentiment of people. Now you will make statements there. Investment in oil and gas. When any era no one discover oil and gas in commercial quantity Oklahoma. Maybe so
That's under the Kofu administration, right?
So why do they want to take credit as if to say, look, GMPC when they were in government, one focus now was to plant a machine on you, mokolo on you, kobe, and what you call it, a more nadi. That was why you directed GMPC to. President Kufuor comes and redirects their focus. In any event, Sankofa. I want research Ghana for I. Do you know the kind of contract these people went to sign under the Sankofa deal? The most expensive gas in the whole world. Go and check the revenues that government of Ghana is making from there. They talk. Only recently we have renegotiated that price downwards. Now what economic management are? Obi. Read the IMF report of 2018. Whether any of the commitments that government of Ghana signed on was achieved. Why? The projection here no true. Why? 2020 was Ghana's economy not projected to grow by whatever percentage? Did it happen? Maybe so some OCR. Why? When the name of Mahama and Okechende, you cannot fix the economy within 2 years and he's looking beyond 2017. Wasn't not the same man who told us that. You see, Obi, I will continually urge you that look, you can oppose a policy. There's no problem. But the opposer can acquire in your opposition. Why? Obi this guy go da. No find the transaction be that was what tax that?
No.
So why is he saying that who savings or momo da no tax? Why is he saying that?
A sender answer.
It's only when you do a transaction.
A transaction above a certain limit.
Thank you very much. How is that double taxation? Obi, end of month. Want to a PAYE.
What will be
Ekokoto, Coca-Cola, well, KFC or airport where one charge of VAT.
Overcharge.
On your tax.
Or a tax.
So that one is double taxation. It's double taxation. What? You should answer the question. Meaning that when you're a host, but you see some of these things. So why do we try to create confusion? In any event, look at the exemptions. You realize that government is deliberately even encouraging merchants to get onto the tax bracket net by registering. Because a payment to a registered taxpayer through electronic transaction, MOMOA, you don't pay the e-levy. It's not part of the formalizing the economy agenda. And so, or your transaction get onto the tax net such that or use electronic payment on to your e-levy. Of course, government would then be in a position to see mason, na carpenters, na shoe shine food, na all the people who are using the services that only a few people are paying.
Semper FM.
What incomes they are earning, so that they can also make a contribution. So why can't we tell the truth? I want to know. Obi, 40% of mobile money users do less than 100 CD transaction per day.
Ekosiisen on Asempa FM.
Are they affected? But listen to the narrative. Yes, Aban, one mischief, one propaganda, one akushi, some agodi, the Chagana fu. Purely because you see any revenue measure bia Obama Abanwe is yen budget rigidities no kakra. We create space as a threat to your political fortunes in 2024. On it Abano corrupt town hall meetings or engage Ghana for no explain Chairman. I'm saying that we are responsible as a government. And if your decisions are not satisfactory to the people of Ghana, we are prepared to face the consequences. And if he inures to the good of our country as we intended to be, I pray to God. Doma MPP, young continue beyond 2024. Because the part I yes, you don't know.
Ekosiisen on Asempa
Any
FM.
disruption will send us back to the government who, at a point, because of oil, the economy will grow in excess of 12%, 14. 2012 will blow the door. There was no tomorrow. Energy sector contractor was signing like confetti. Onyen kodu pempenswa yedru ya COVID obo compound the end problem. Because can you imagine if all these costs had not been incurred? Can you imagine if all these debts had not been accumulated through their mismanagement? Obviously, whatever it is that government would have borrowed in 2020 to protect Ghanaian lives would not have reached this level. This is basic. If the banking sector cost of in excess of 20 billion, the power sector payments, Bobro in no Sabana inke damu cost na we will be where we are today.
Ekosiisen on Asempa FM.
Did they ever manage any pandemic?
Asempa
Ebola.
FM.
Ebola was a pandemic. Energy sector was a pandemic. That it was as a result of the pipeliner pirates be waka damaging on internet gas off in Nigeria umba. That's why we're in doom. So you remember gas no pipeline or the gas.
Yeah, or the gas.
There were no alternatives.
Oh, there were.
So why did we have doom? So look at the chart that I sent to you.
Yeah, number that too. It's on Facebook actually.
So really, if you look at it, but for the fact that they didn't have money to buy fuel to power the plants, there was sufficient enough generation.
And
These are the facts.
When a
World Bank document
or say and more mutie over Facebook Live as Empire.
These are the facts.
Or the payment for excess installed generation capacity and average retail tariff below cost recovery are not periodically adjusted have further deteriorated the financial situation of the sector. And a chair say from 2010 we should deep blue now. Deep blue near installed capacity pre-2016 and capacity added since is it 2016?
2015.
Oh, 2015. And a peak demand. In the peak demand in a red line. No? In the peak demand, yes, will be a so ne Kenya Ghana red line be a dano. No. It means say over 2010, 2011, 2012, 13, 14, 15, and add light blue. No? It means even 15. No. Now we installed generation capacity now. We're still in the deep blue sector. We did not really
consume all of it.
Consume baby. And the light blue now
increase in the two new bars of blue no was when Bui power came on
about on stream. Okay. Into bar to this point.
So that's the reality.
But the other point there is actually installed generation capacity and available capacity or a different.
Obi.
Maybe you might have the plant installed, but they are not generating power.
Not generating when you fuel about generator. How is it going to generate?
Ekosiisen on
If there's no
Asempa
fuel to power it, how is it going to generate? No, no,
Me too.
in Egyapa, there's no document.
Yeah, that's a World Bank document.
So it tells you, and all that light blue, government had to pay for it, take or pay. Take or pay. And you know, Mary, since last year, February or March, one day Buddha.
Asempa
Anima.
FM.
Obi Mbiso Asam.
Last year.
I'm telling you, when the contract expired,
Yes.
that when the BOOT agreement expired, what's that in there?
But we've now taken over it.
Yes,
It's now our property.
Of course. Is there Dumso? Obi so me trickle. Dumso.
No.
Do we need it? Mister, for a year, it's never been turned on. Are we experiencing Dumso? I don't know this question here.
That's me, I know that I was.
Ekosiisen on Asempa FM.
So that is the problem that they created. Okay, also, our abandoned 5 years. You are still talking about NDC one problem. But can this thing be hidden? Yes, government is a continuum. Instead, the Akufo-Addo government has no choice than to abide by some of these reckless contracts that the NDC signed. And all that is part of the cost that the state has had to incur. Yambo na yankobo bosen kontu ebie musa. Oni ni ente ya. Yambo a na yeyem to bon kakra for the fast growing sector of our economy. Now I've been asking myself, what is the value of so-called financial inclusion if we cannot ask the users to make a contribution to the tax net? To create space now one benefit one user. When the finance minister in his statement budget indicated that because of the shift to electronic payments, the traditional tax handles is not experiencing growth. And it's not 17.5% on financial transactions, like they charge though. Obi. Fellas kwachi fosu. Catch and there. They can't do anything. What taxi? Condom. Kayaye. Cutlasses. They say we have short memory. What do you free? You today is telling us that 1.75, 1 CD 75 pesos are abandoned because of feedback. What's Odokra, but 1 CD 50 pesos.
Information, man.
1 CD 50 pesos, Obi. On every 100 Ghana cedis.
Uko Facebook. Madam Fobi on Facebook, your friend Alex Ganyo Gavivina Bini. And I'll make a post with or say frame other media house or say they did economics and breadnomics in 2016. Let me also do condomnomics. This Rough Rider condom was 6 cities in 2016. Today it is 12 cities. Boys don't want to talk about this because here be roadside. Time I always say, yeah, the tax are 2 condoms, so can I 6 cities. Boys now who talk condom, who complain say 12 cities. So the reality is that condom is more expensive than Akufo-Addo than under John Mahama.
Oh, Obi. If it's harder, I'm confident in the discerning capability of the Ghanaian. I have absolute hope. Osande increasingly, and when the news come in and also now I don't know a chairman also not the Mortinia. Ah, now I am who I am. Oh, not one chim, one quarter, one chim, and we will continue at it. I have no doubt whatsoever in my mind. The options are available to government now. Of course, cutting expenditure, Agbana indicate tightening the system such that a block leakages. Agbana transformation agenda or embark on. It's all intended to deal with that. Broadening the tax net, efficiency in tax collection, race, program Agbana outline is intended to achieve that indeed. GRA last year were exceeding one target. So all those policies and programs are necessary. But e-levy cannot be mutually exclusive from the implementation of all that. So I support e-levy. And you will continue to explain. I'm a Ghana food. I don't expect unanimity. Osande Edem Agbana disciples don't know why I'm not doing. The mebeke bia say don't get them be different. I won't see. I say don't get us why I'm not doing. Nana my expect over the period in we make a firm commitment. In any event, one commitment will make a. There's no guarantee they will be do. Because what can be that in opposition? One major flagship program also will be implemented when they come to government in 2008. 110 premium. It never happened. Professor Mills, may God bless his soul, no promises so make it to reduce petrol prices in the first 100 days. It never happened. Instead, will make a commitment to create the what will remove e-levy.
And again, in the first 100
there
days,
is no guarantee that it would happen. So, Ghana, these people we know them.
in the General Secretary
said
they would abolish e-levy within the first 100 days.
And this is full year one. What catch that one? That one just one. Focus. Ne entana na kufu ado na bandechi.
Abaime we.
Na Ghana obey you. Onke you. Ojine na nkase your choices do, and I can guarantee you, without a doubt, that the MPP is the best safe pair of hands. Aubutum wa drive your economy westian to the promised land in a epidemic.
May I say, Lawyer Andrew Egyapa, Mercer, thank you. Deputy Energy Minister Edem Agbana, a Deputy National Youth Organizer
of Asempa FM.
The opposition NDC. Ekosiisen is Asempa 94.